Hi, Paige here, the 1 Foot Flipper. On this episode, I'm going to sell some stuff. Going to go to a Magic the Gathering event, which was far over my head skill level-wise. And we're going to talk about some real truths about video game collecting and reselling. Stay tuned.
1 Foot Flipper.
Oh yeah, so I guess you get that one.
Okay. All right, and then if you want to go ahead and flip your waifu, it will say what your number is on the bottom.
8 is great.
6. I assume this is 7?
Yes.
8 means I go last, but I get 2 picks in a row.
I'm not. No, I'm just trying to read it.
All right, who's number 1?
I am. Andrew.
And that is perfectly normal things. None of us are weirdos. All right, it has been a slow day of sales, but I ticked over to 10,000 YouTube subscribers same time, so I don't really care. All right, what did I sell today? I sold this Hiss matching tile game for $15. Goodwill bins item, so I would have had a little bit less than $2 into it. When it out, parted out, this is a vacuum piece for a heart cordless, sold for $6 plus shipping. This is some sort of Isis Oracle Tarot deck type of thing. I found this at the bin, sold for $6. I had about 40 cents into it. Going by what it weighs. It's a rarity for me. Shoes. I only tend to pick up men's dress shoes that look almost brand new. Because then, I don't know why, I do. $24.99. I got these for $2 at a garage sale about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month. All right, we're here. I'm going to do the Vintage Rotisserie Draft. We just spent 3 hours picking the best cards in Magic. I plan on coming in last place. How about you?
First place.
Excellent.
Challenging you for last place.
Excellent.
Either winning or losing.
Sounds like we already have someone in first place, so I'm going for second.
Nice.
I'll tie for last.
I'll go for third, I guess. Haven't been called that.
All right, everybody got their place. I'll come back at the end and let you know how it went. And finally, a Ramagon building set. It's got a bunch of pieces inside. It's from the 80s. Set number 490. Sold for $31.50. This was a bins item. Going by the weight, I had about $6.50 into it. All right, I got to get this stuff packed up because I have an all-day Magic the Gathering event tomorrow that I am not nearly prepared enough for. All right, believe it or not, somehow I came into this and went undefeated 7-0. First place, never going to happen again. Probably going to fall down, lose the other leg on my way down out of the place. All right, let's do a few sales. And a few is what there are, unfortunately. Sold this Crack the Case game for $9.57. You're going to see a lot of lower dollar items because I just put everything in my store between $5 and $20. 20% off because I need to make some room. And when I was looking at my statistics, 80% of the value in my store, a little bit more than 80, I think it's 83%, is in items that are $20 and up, but the majority of the items in my store are under $20. So I need to clear some space as far as physical space and, well, account space, because I don't want to upgrade my account again in order to get more good stuff up and make some more money. Golden Axe for Sega Genesis, $9.30. This sold within minutes of me putting it 20% off. See, yesterday, you saw I won that Magic tournament, and also my YouTube account recently got to over 10,000 subscribers. 2 major bonuses. It was seeming to be a really great day, but then I got home and I started clicking around and looking on YouTube. I watched an old ADH Dave video. He's talking about another time he's at Disney with his kids. And all I can think about is I do the same thing as Dave does, and my daughter's never been to Disney World. Not 5 times a year, not once every year. She's never been there. And that just really got me down for some reason. Then I made the mistake of like, oh, I'll watch some shorts instead. So then I got to watch people skiing and snowboarding, doing all sorts of things that I'll also never be able to do. And again, I really took myself from having a great day to really bringing myself down, wondering, what am I really doing all of this for? My own personal life would be no different, really, than if I beat my butt to make as much money as I can, or if I basically did nothing. It doesn't change the life that I would be living right now very much at all. Still be sitting in a chair most of the day, at a computer most of the day. I don't really spend any of this money I make on myself. I mostly just put it all away for my family's future, but I'm not making it fast enough or putting it away fast enough to be able to have a huge impact on their present. And I don't really know what to do about that. Sold this Warhammer 40,000 Eldar Warwalker early in the game, $27.35. That would have been painted by my late friend Ed. I've had that in my store for several years. Sold a Santa in box for $3.87. Not going to be a huge profit here. I'm going to clear about, I don't know, $3 on it, maybe. Depends on whether or not I got it at a garage sale or the bins. McCartney, Venus and Mars, $5.47. I lost an item, or at least I can't find it for now. It's a Pokemon Togepi name tint. It's a little thing, you know, cardboard, you fold it together. It's got a picture of the Pokemon. It says Pokemon. There's a place to put the kid's name and seat number on it. I can't find it. I had a whole stack of them. Didn't have a location. Didn't know where it went. So I sent the buyer, says, hey, I can't seem to find this right now. If I can't find it, I'll send you a Pokemon poster, and then I'll give you a full refund once it gets there. And if I can't find it, I'm going to send them this poster. And then once it gets there, I'm going to send them a full refund. I don't send the full refund first because I have found in the past, if you ship something and then immediately refund it, sometimes the eBay algorithm will pick that up as decide that that's an order cancellation and will ding you for it anyway. And the whole idea of me sending them something free is to make it not an order cancellation. Monk completes series 1 and 2, $3.88 on DVD. This was 50 cents at an estate sale. My wife actually picked it. An Elven Archer figure broken off his base, beautifully painted though. $7.90 to a repeat buyer. Not a viewer though. This was one of the JDF's items, although he's not going to get much on his spreadsheet because of what it's sold for, because I've got a minimum price before money even goes on the spreadsheet, because I can find $5 items all day long. I don't need any help getting them. But he'll get something there. All right, I guess that's all the sales I've got for today. Let's hope the sales pick up tomorrow, or maybe my attitude will pick up tomorrow. Hopefully one or the other. So recently, Paul the Philly Flipper, apparently he's turned me on or made me know the existence of another YouTuber named Heckin' Steve. He's got about 8,000 followers or whatever. He goes back and forth between being a video game channel and just hating on resellers. And Paul, had you never pointed that guy out, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be subscribed to him today. I'm sorry that the guy hates you, but... And I think he is especially hard on you, but I've ended up finding myself watching the guy. I kind of wish that he would roast me. I don't think it would bother me. I'm my own worst critic. There's nothing anybody's going to say to me that would be as bad as the things that I would say to himself. But he had a video recently about don't ruin your life with collecting, or specifically video game collecting. And it kind of got me thinking about, yeah, I'm not a big pro of video game collecting anymore either, even though I love them. I used to have both a big physical video game collection and a big arcade game collection. I sold them both and I don't really miss them. In fact, I think the physical video game collection is really, like Heckin' Steve said, it is kind of part of a poverty mentality of wanting as an adult to have all those things that you couldn't have as a child, where no one can take them away from you. But the problem is that once you actually are an adult and you have adult money, collecting physical video games is about the worst way to spend your video game money. I don't know if you knew that. Literally, PC gaming is such a better bargain that it's outrageous. You could literally spend zero money on games and you will have an insane collection of PC games just from the stuff that is constantly being given away. Like the Epic Game Store just gave away this Castlevania collection of, you know, almost all the early Castlevania games, including one that had never been released in America before, and it was free. In the past, they've given away things like Grand Theft Auto 5 for free. Right now, Half-Life 2 is free from Steam. Borderlands 2 is free if you're a subscriber to Amazon. It's endless. Literally, the free games collections you could get for PCs so outstrip anything you're going to buy for those consoles that it's ridiculous. You can say, but Paige, I want to play sitting on the couch. Me too. Do you know that that every television set today is basically just a computer monitor? You can plug your computer into the television set. You don't even have to buy a second computer. Just run another cable over. Run it through a wall if you have to. It's not that hard. You can do it. Also, for the more casual games you might play from the couch, literally a $100 refurb computer from Micro Center would just do it. A lot cheaper than a new PlayStation for $700. And why it's also a poverty mentality is the idea of, oh, I can resell my games and recoup some of my value. Yes, you can. You can buy that new game that it costs more than the PC version, for usually from day one. You can eventually sell that game for less money than you would have saved if you had just bought the PC version. And that's if you bought the game on day one. If you waited, that PC version of the game will eventually go to nearly zero in price, or may indeed go to zero in price and be given away for free. I actually had to turn off a subscription service I had. I think it was only $5 a month, maybe it was 10. That was giving me 8 brand new video games every month. And at least one of them was a really big deal title that should be $60. And giving me that every month because I had gotten so many games in my Steam account that it was overwhelming that I didn't know what to even play when I decided I did want to play something. Just the amount of free video games that's out there is crazy. But you say, oh, but what if Steam shuts down? You know what? It's been there for 20 years. I'm going to bet there's a better chance that Steam will be around 20 years from now than your PlayStation 5 will be working and the servers will still be up in 20 years. Those physical games won't work in 20 years either. Nintendo cartridges probably will, but none of those disc-based games that want servers, PlayStation 4 and 5, last few Xboxes, none of that stuff is going to work in the future at all. There's a bigger chance that the PC download services will still be up. And the other thing about, losing your games. I no longer own probably 98% of every physical video game that I ever purchased, but I still own every single download game I have ever purchased. Not one of those services has ever gone out, that I purchased something from, has gone out of business without being folded into another company and still allowing me access. So I find that argument to be ridiculous. Yeah, occasionally some game will become very valuable, but it's only because it's a physically rare game. It's usually nothing anybody ever actually wants to play. Like there are Nintendo NES cartridges that sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars. It's not because they're good. It's because they're rare, and there's enough people with deep enough pockets or enough of a dream, a lot of which did come from a poor background, just like me, who are trying to get that complete collection of NES games or Super NES games or whatever it is. And that's the thing that makes those games expensive for the most part. Or you have insane things, like for some reason, nearly every Pokemon game ever made sells for more money now than it did when the game was new. Which only makes sense if you understand Pokemon collectors, because Pokemon collectors, they're collecting something based upon two games. A card game series and a video game series, and for the most part, they don't play either one of them. They buy Pokemon cards, don't play the Pokemon card game, and they buy Pokemon game cartridges for systems that they do not own. Fact is, like, every Pokemon game ever has basically been a smash hit. There shouldn't be a shortage of them compared to working Nintendo DSs. There shouldn't be a shortage of working cartridges for the Pokemon games for those systems. It shouldn't be. It's the people who don't even have the systems that still have to have the cartridge anyway for their collection that make that stuff expensive. Alright, I've really gone off on a tangent here, and don't be insulted if you've got a big video game collection. I've got one too. If it's got you joy, if it gives you joy, let it bring you joy. And if you're just picking in general, honestly, it's super cheap. Most games are $1 or only worth $1 for the most part. So yeah, you can have a ton of them all on your wall. I've just decided that I don't want it or care anymore. Because I've got most of those games have a PC version anyway. The PC version's usually better. Usually also was basically essentially free. And those sometimes actually get updates years later, making things better or fixing them for new hardware, adding things in. I mean, Valve, the company that makes the Half-Life game series and owns the Steam game selling platform, they've been updating Half-Life 2 for 20 years. That game still gets an update every few months of something or other. Some little something in the code will be fixed or whatever. And that's amazing. That's not happening. They're not putting out updates to PS2 games anymore. That isn't happening. All right, this is a huge tangent. It's probably going to lose me a lot of subs. But, oh well. I'm going to go pack these orders up now and go upstairs and try to think of some way to make some money next week, because I'm going to need some.
See, that's One Foot Flipper's nonsense video.